not the first one.
No, I thought it was.
Welcome back. Vlog number 12, part 2. Might be part 2 of 3, might be part 2 of 2. You think we can wrap it all up?
I think we might be able to wrap it all up here.
We might be able to wrap it up. So last time we were at campsite Nugent Mountain on day 2. We left off there. Some of the reviews on it were the Canyon Mountain, or Pine Canyon trail hike we took that second day. And the little piece of fur you found with a curved nail in it. If you haven't seen that particular part, I'll put a link down below where you can go back and review that part of this vlog number 12. And we put the nail and the fur into a baggie along with some scat, thinking we're superhero naturalists, right?
We did.
Why wouldn't you want to tell us? Wow, look at you guys.
Yes.
Oh, we could be in the Big Bend newspaper. Finds cougar evidence. Not. So
Stop smoking that stuff.
yeah. So day 3, we're at Nugent Mountain. Day 3 would be our checkout or pull out.
We need
day.
to leave by noon that morning.
Yep.
So we,
So
it's early in the morning. I don't even think the sun's up. Is it still dark?
it's still dark.
It's still dark.
It's let's put it this way. It's sort of twilight-ish.
right. But
It's
yeah,
dawn. You can
we're
you can
definitely
see
not
things.
up.
You can see cars if or
But
you can see
headlights are
things.
on.
But your headlights would definitely be on.
So all of a sudden, John wakes up and says, "Oh my God, there's a car here."
Yeah, there's more than So where I sleep, I can look out the window, and the first thing I heard it before it woke me up out of a sound sleep because my window was open, and I look out and there's this van. It's like hell bent for election, as my mother would say, coming into our campsite, like 25.
It's actually like a trailblazer.
Was
Yeah,
it? No, then the second one was a van. So it was a Ford Explorer, a Trailblazer, and a Chevy Malibu. All 3 of them,
Come flying into camp like
it was a raid.
busted.
Like we're busted. I'm thinking, I got an air gun under the couch. No, that's not going to do it. No drugs. No, those are all used up.
Stop.
And so we're looking outside, and I open the window, and we're both looking at them. We're looking at them. Right, they're turning around right here in the parking lot, and obviously they were all lost. And the first 2 were following the first one, or the last 2 were following the first one. He turns around. They all turn around. The third car just backs up from where they were at, and that's how we got up that morning.
Yeah,
So,
that was kind of a little.
Yeah, it was not
seriously,
a great. Yeah, I was not.
Go buy a map and learn how to read it.
Yeah, buy a map. Yeah. Which brings up the point that you had no internet, so no internet whatsoever. If there was an emergency or something like that, so I don't know if they were trying to use an app on their phone. A lot of people have apps on their phones. Well, apps on your phone aren't going to work in there for navigation.
Nothing worked down in
No.
Big Bend.
No.
You had no service.
Nothing. So we get up, make breakfast, tidy
Our
up
usual
camp.
stuff.
Yep, pack up. Did we go to the? Oh yeah. So, so we go to the visitor center
Again, to try.
Yeah. So we go in.
Oh, I forgot. Yes.
Yeah, that too. So I park, and we both go in, and so we think at that time too, we didn't know that these mountain type sheep that we saw weren't wild. They were the aoudad.
Right.
So I've got my laptop because we've got pictures and movies
To show them.
and Yvette's got furry evidence, and we're gonna go in there and just wow them.
No, we almost got arrested.
Almost got arrested
Because you're not allowed to pick up anything.
Nothing.
When you're in the park.
Because
you can't pick up a rock, you can't move, you can't take anything. But I didn't know you couldn't take fur or scat out of the middle of a trail.
Yeah.
No, it's part of the natural environment and it belongs
Yeah.
there. So for all of you that
Yeah,
ever think
don't
about
touch
it,
nothing.
don't touch a thing.
Don't touch a thing, whether you think it's been walked on 20 times or 30 times or 40 times. It's been there 20 years. And I get all of that. It's your house. You make the rules. Pardon me. But the lady says, oh, yeah, oh, you're not. Mm-mm. So she says, I'm going to have to confiscate it. The good news is we won't arrest you today.
Or charge you,
Or
$5,000 fine.
$5,000 fine.
Like, sorry, I didn't mean
And
it.
so she puts it under wouldn't tell us what it was, wouldn't look at it. Nope, nothing.
Nope, nothing.
Nothing.
So
And then we
still
looked
don't
in the
know.
ledger for more good news. There was nothing that we
Right.
could do. So we were done. Pretty much done as far as what we figured at that point. I think we were going to go to our last place,
Right. We had 3 nights at Paint Gap.
which was called Paint Gap. So we left there and went to Paint Gap, which was...
That was another Paint Gap
It
was
wasn't that far away. The access road was probably 5 miles up the road.
and on that one road I think we
Oh.
only had
Oh, the road.
but I did take him down the
Yeah.
wrong road first.
So,
a few miles.
We get up to the access road, and she's like, and I'm like, this is it, right? She goes, yeah, this is it, because she is the navigator. And
I'm
by
still
all-
learning, I'm
and
training.
She's still learning, and she's still learning. So we're going down this road, and it's rocking and rolling and
What
banging
was
and
that
banging.
road called?
I don't remember. Something Springs.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Something
that.
Springs Road. We get down the road about 2 miles.
At least.
At least 2 miles, and for no apparent reason, she says, "I think we're on the wrong
Only
road."
because I'm looking at the map and I was like, oh, we went down the wrong road.
Yeah. And I was in a good mood then, so I just basically said, "Yeah, you're kidding me. Right? You're just kidding, right?" And she
So
says,
he will put that video.
"Yeah, you'll see."
We got that one.
Yeah, why don't we let them see the clip?
There you go.
So listen to the clip, and you can see how this all turns
Played out. Oh my God, we're on the wrong road.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, I'm not. It's
Yeah,
not
right.
funny.
That's fucking funny.
It's not funny. We're supposed to be at Paint Gap, not Grapevine Springs.
I know what I did to you yesterday was a bad thing. But this isn't a good way to get back at me. It really isn't.
I'm not trying to get back at you. I swear
Really?
to God. Yeah, no, we went the wrong road. We were thinking.
Get out.
Getting out.
Get out of my truck.
Hey.
No, I mean it. Get out. Seriously?
Seriously.
Do you know how long it takes?
I know, okay. Yes. We've been thinking fucking Grapevine. We're supposed to be at Paint Gap.
all of a sudden we're French. I said, is this the road? Yep.
I said yes, and I
This
was
is the
wrong.
road.
So, but then we end up getting to Paint Gap, and we again are site number 1 going into Paint Gap, which has 3 other sites farther back from us.
Okay, that makes it sound like where we were, there were 3 sites behind us, not farther down the road.
Oh, they were. Oh, okay. Well, behind us. Yeah. Okay.
And then technically they were beyond us,
There,
not
there you go.
behind us.
Beyond.
Which is true. There's the access road. There's who knows? It's like 3, 4, 5 miles long. The road was, but we, like Yvette said, there was just that once. We were at the first site on the right, and we played around a little bit with disconnecting the trailer and moving it a certain way, and then parking the vehicle so we could do our thing there.
Which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the next day was a glorious day.
Yep.
Got to take my first outdoor shower.
Which
It was quite nice.
That was your first.
My first,
Yeah.
yeah, in Big Bend.
In Big Bend. No walls. You take a
Nothing,
shower,
just-
look at the view,
It was perfect.
hot water.
Yep. Oh, lots of hot water.
Lots
More
of
hot
hot
water there than in most of the campgrounds.
Right. The trailer was just admirable in its performance.
Doing
Oh.
quite well.
So what other things can we tell them about Paint Gap, some of the highlights while we were there? I'm trying to think. It seems like it's been so
You know,
long ago.
we didn't want to drive everywhere.
Right.
So we stayed for 3 days at Paint Gap, which it's the Chihuahuan Desert. You're only going to see. The other thing I have to say about Big Bend is, unlike a lot of the state parks that we've been in, you don't get any information. You don't get any information on the plant life, on the wildlife. You get nothing unless you want to buy books, which
Right. They
I
did.
can get.
Yes.
But you know what? I don't want to buy books. I can't open an app on my iPad while I'm there trying to figure out what all these plants are. So, they're not teaching you anything. You're not learning anything when you go in there unless you're going to buy all these books, which, sorry, we don't have room in the rig to carry. I left a lot of books back home because we couldn't take books with us.
And there's no internet.
Right. So you need to educate us somehow on everything that you have there.
To be fair, but also to reinforce your point, there are programs that the national park had. However, you don't know when those programs are unless you drive back to the visitor center, and if your campsite is 25 miles away, I mean, it's just kind of a really crazy thing. Whereas the Texas state park system, you drive in, everywhere you look, you get they have a booklet and a nice map, and the map has all kinds of information on it. And everywhere you go in the park, let's say you go to a trailhead in a Texas state park, I don't care if the trailhead is like a mile and a half. There's a big kiosk, and it gives you pictures of all the wildlife that you could see, the plant life you could see, history about it. All the trails are clearly marked. It's not so. When we went up to the Pine Canyon trailhead, there was a plaque on a stone this big, I kid you not, and it basically said, this is the Pine Canyon Trail. By the time you're done with the 2 miles in, you're going to be in a pine forest in a canyon, and you're going to climb 1,000 feet. Done.
Okay,
That's
thanks for letting me know everything.
Doesn't educate you. So I think people come away from this whole thing with, thank God they got the vastness of the park on their side. Because other than that, people wouldn't know a creosote bush from a prickly pear cactus.
And truthfully, the view that you're seeing now is pretty much
Why
the
don't
same.
you tell them where we are?
We're actually in Alamogordo, New Mexico.
At a place, yep.
Yeah.
At a New Mexico state park, which is very nice. We love it.
Remember what it's called?
Oliver Lee Memorial State Park.
Good job. See, that was a test.
Because I've been calling it Orville for a while.
He's got popcorn on the brain.
I've got Orville Redenbacher on the brain.
Yes.
So at any rate, to get back to our main point, we walked up and down this road. We set up some trail cameras.
We went off into the desert, but you're looking at the
Bushwhacking.
same thing everywhere. So kind of to us, it's amazing the vastness of Big Bend.
Right.
And the scenery and the mountains and all of that are gorgeous. But unless you're going to get in your car and you're going to drive all day.
Right.
Because it's hundreds of thousands of acres.
Right.
You can't see it all, and we didn't want to spend
Right.
every day in the car. So I don't know that Big Bend was really the place for us.
Well,
where we
this is
stayed.
going to be like those two guys that did movie reviews. You're going to give it maybe like a half a thumbs down. And I'm going to say that one of the strikes we had against us from the get-go, which I think we haven't really delved into as much, is we didn't go into this park with enough food, fresh food. We had enough canned food and frozen stuff, but we didn't have enough fruits and vegetables. We didn't have enough green vegetables. And we thought when we left Del Rio, we thought, well, we'll be able to get groceries in Marathon because that's what we heard on the internet.
Right.
Well, that was a lie. And then when we left Marathon, we understood there was a store at Rio Grande Village, and that was a lie. So now we're going into what we're hoping is a 10-day national park stay, and we got 12 apples and a peach. Or
True,
whatever
but
it
you know
was.
what? But I think that all in all, that if we had enough, if it was going to be the same scenery that I was seeing, I was ready to go. Because I wasn't really getting any good hiking in. I wasn't getting... How many birds did you see in Big Bend?
Oh, you're putting...
a little bit of pressure, though.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure.
I mean...
That's true. But there is more to Big Bend. I mean, the sunsets and sunrises were spectacular. The night sky was spectacular. I understand. I still would like to go back, but not in the same area that we were in. I think we should go back to the state park version, in other
Yes.
words, Big Bend Ranch, and then use that as a stepping off point to go into the southwestern part of Big Bend
We could do
National
that.
Park
We could do that. I
for
would definitely,
another
yeah.
4 or 5 days. And we certainly have that ability to do that because while we were at Big Bend, we bought the National Park Pass, so we definitely would get a discount there. So other than that, then let's wrap up and say we left Paint Gap 1, which was our campsite, on the fourth day, because Monday morning, and decided that we were going to leave the park. I mean, that was pretty crazy, right? The whole planning of where we were going to go next, because we changed our minds a couple of times, I think, but ultimately,
And it was hard to plan it because you
Yes.
had no internet to find out
nothing.
where, I mean, besides the booklets that we
Yeah.
had.
Occasionally, I could pop a Instagram or something, but you couldn't really do any real internet work because there was no real signal. But we left the park Monday morning, really kind of early too, wasn't it? It was an early
it was
day out.
actually not as early as the other days.
No,
But you can't tell them now where we
No.
went. And,
So you're gonna
we're
have
just
to
gonna
wait to
wrap
the-
this one up.
yeah, vlog number 13 when we leave Big Bend to head to our mysterious
No, we can
destination.
tell. We can tell, but
You just said we couldn't.
okay, we can't tell. We'll
Sorry.
let you know next
All right,
time.
next time. Bye bye.
Bye, guys. Wow. Oh my God.
Hear that?
Yeah.
I think that's part of the cleaning process.